So here we go. Aquí vamos. Y muy buenos días. Buenos días. ¿Cómo están ustedes? ¿Están bien?
Sí.
¿Están bien? Magnífico. Excelente. Oh, we still have some folks coming in. This always happens. You know, we can't always predict on our own, even home computer systems, if we're going to log in fast or not. I usually log in fast, but you know, once in a while, the gremlins get into the internet system, right? Okay, vale, magnífico. Para que sepan, so that you guys know. Para que ustedes sepan, so that you guys know. When we eventually go into our breakout room session, I will break out folks like Bill and Roger and Pat. And I have one, not Mary Ann, but Mary, if Mary joins us, her as well, my newer people. I will be sadly, but not sadly, segregating some of you, those of you who are coming in from that very, very, very beginner group, and you know who you are. When we go into breakout session, I will be having you folks in a group on your own for the first 2 sessions at least. For some of you who are jumping in after that real basic group today, in some ways may seem a little like, kind of, you know, revving a little bit, but no se preocupen, do not worry, because it'll be just a little matter of getting a bit up to speed. You know, there are some folks in this group who are at very different levels, some who are very, 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 very beginner, and some who feel like, I'm doing pretty okay, and some who feel like, oh my gosh, I know all kinds of stuff, and I am just pushing to do more and more and more. So it is a diverse group, and I do try to meet everybody's needs. And so for the first breakout session this week and next, I'll probably have the very beginner people with in a separate group together, instead of mixing you in with the more experienced people so that you feel kind of more comfortable. Plus, you folks will have a special lesson. Vamos a empezar con una historia. Primero, una historia. First, we're going to have a story, mi historia, my story. Part of your homework is going to be to do some listening comprehension for stories. So the listening comprehension is going to be an extension of my little riffing today. Tengo una historia. Durante las vacaciones. Wow, we had vacation, didn't we? We had vacation. Durante las vacaciones. Es mi historia. Voy a empezar. I'm going to begin. I'm going a empezar. I'm going to begin. Con mi historia. Bien. Yeah. Mi historia de qué pasó, what happened, qué pasó en los últimos o las últimas 3 semanas. Las últimas 3 semanas, the last 3 weeks. Ok. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? Lo que pasó es que por la mañana, mi esposo que se llama Kevin, mi esposo que se llama Kevin, él estaba en el baño por la mañana. He was in the bathroom in the morning. ¿Sí?
Sí.
Y en el baño escuchó, escuchó el sonido de rascar. Rascar en el baño. Qué raro. En las paredes, un rascar. Y yo le dije a Kevin, a mi esposo, creo que, I think that. Here's a good phrase for you guys to know. Creo que, if you turn on your chat box, I'll put in what creo que means. I think that, more accurately, I think that. Creo que tenemos ratones. Creo que, qué pena, es mala cosa, es malísimo, it is very bad, es malísimo tener ratones. Creo que tenemos ratones en el techo. Ah, bien. ¿Qué es el techo? El techo es, miren aquí, el techo. El techo. El techo es esta parte de la casa. El techo. Es difícil escribir. It is hard for me to write. I feel like a kindergartner again. Es el techo. Creo que tenemos ratones en el techo.
On the roof.
Y están rascando en las paredes, in the walls. ¡Ah! ¡Qué horror! ¡Qué horror! No me gustan los ratones en el techo. No me gustan. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Ah, bueno. Ok, entonces dije, un momentito, tengo que buscar ¿dónde está la foto? Ya no. Momentito. Le dije a mi esposo que, bueno, creo que necesitamos veneno. ¿Ven la foto del veneno? ¿Qué es veneno? Veneno es como, tenemos una palabra en inglés, venomous, veneno. ¿Qué es veneno?
Poison.
Poison. Creo que necesitamos veneno para matar a los ratones en el techo. Entonces, yo tomé el veneno y me metí el veneno en el techo, en el ático de la casa. Y metí quizás 3 cubos, así, 3 trozos, ¿sí? De veneno en el techo, en el ático, debajo del techo de la casa, y espero que vamos a matar a los ratones. ¿Entienden? Es malísimo. Es very, very bad. El peor, the worst. El peor, the worst. Es lo que pasó. It's what happened. You are going to watch as part of your homework. This is going to be a much easier story because they're going to tell it actually all in present tense. They're going to tell this story. So part of your homework is going to be a different riff on this, and it's going to look like this. It'll be this guy here. And he is also going to tell a story about el ratón, un ratón. No es mi ratón. This is not my mouse. And even though ratón sounds like rat, it is really mouse. El ratón. Ratón. Sí, el ratón. Y él va a contar una historia. He's going to tell a story sobre un ratón. And when you listen to this story, I will encourage you. I think there are some captions. I don't see them here, but I do think it has subtitles. So if you find a subtitle, a CC box at the bottom of the YouTube, do that. So that'll be an expansive riff, but an easier story than my story. Okay, está bien. Está bien. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? What are we going to do? Because we have some people of varying abilities in this class, which is perfectly okay. Today, again, I will break you out into, some groups where some of you will be all together to do a simpler little lesson with me, and others will do something a little bit more challenging in your own time, in your separate breakout rooms. But I think today we're going to focus on a couple of issues for our practice. And they're going to be very basic issues, because even if you are very advanced and you're feeling like you're chugging along just great and doing really, really hard stuff, these are things that are always good to review. Son cosas de repasar. And we're going to review them in a little different way than how you've seen them before. And our two issues for today are going to be articles, words for the. Times we use the when you think you shouldn't have to, but you do. And our second topic is going to be a review of numbers, and numbers couched in the context of time, talking about time. So those are going to be our two little themes for today. Normally, I'm going to start each class a little bit differently. Normally, we're going to start with, I'm going to say whatever little tiny book you have, your tiny reading book. I'll say, open up with what questions do you have from things that you've been reading, but we won't do that today yet. We will do that in the future. And if you have questions, but I'm pretty open. Those of you who are brand new, probably you are looking at El Escape Cubano, that one. If you have questions about how to get that, let me know later in the chat box. Others of you are going to have different stories, and it does not matter which story you pick as long as you were reading something. Algo. Okay. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? ¿Qué vamos a hacer? We're going to start with something which is actually going to lead into the idea of articles, but this is a chance for us to hear somebody speaking Spanish. This will probably sound a little bit fast, but kind of go with the flow. She's going to show some very curious and unusual uses of articles. Curious and unusual because it's going to be compound words, how some words are put together. So this is a vocabulary video. It may not seem like it is. I think I'm going to put on the subtitles here as well for you. ¿Dónde está? Sí. And this is a little lesson, which is kind of fun, and we're going to do some show and tell items with it afterwards. This is going to tie into the idea of articles eventually, believe it or not. But it's going to show how sometimes in Spanish, for vocabulary building, we sometimes take two words and put them together. You could call those compound words. So this is a little mini vocabulary lesson. There are some odd vocabulary words where we combine two words, smash them together to make a brand new word. Okay, and really what it consists of is one word, which is a verb, combined with something else, which is a noun. But I'm going to let her begin this story. Turn on all my sound stuff here. So let's listen. I may pause her in a couple of areas here. And this may be kind of a soft sound. My recollection is this is one of those videos that is just like almost ridiculously soft. So if you cannot hear it, give me like a thumbs down.
Hola, buenas tardes. Hoy vamos a ver un poquito de vocabulario, las palabras compuestas. En español.
Okay, momentito. Hang on a quick second. I'm gonna, yeah, this is, for some reason, YouTube either makes you deaf person or it is so soft that it's like, what are they saying? So I'm gonna like crank it way up for this one. Let's try this again.
Como en muchas otras lenguas, existen palabras que se han formado por la combinación de un verbo y de un sustantivo.
And this is, they're gonna work, we're gonna make new words in our little vocabulary lesson that combines a verb that says it does something, like it opens. It opens a thing, or it closes a thing, or it stops something, and it makes a new word. You're going to see what she's talking about.
Por ejemplo, paraguas. Esta palabra es
Paraguas. Un paraguas. Es el paraguas. Es el paraguas. Uy. Es el paraguas. ¿Comprenden? ¿Sí? ¿Entienden? ¿Entienden? Es el paraguas. El paraguas. Miren, muy curioso. El, para él, es una cosa. It's one thing. El paraguas, the umbrella.
Es la combinación del verbo parar y del sustantivo.
Parar is this action. Stop.
Agua. Como norma general, existen excepciones, pero
There are
no muchas,
exceptions.
se combina el verbo en la tercera persona.
Usually, these kind of words are built from, like talking about a onesie person, third person singular, a conjugated verb, third person singular, he does it, she does it, and a noun. That word sustantivo, as you see on the screen in pink, means noun. That's all it means.
Persona singular de presente de indicativo y el sustantivo en plural. Entonces, él, ella, para y el sustantivo plural de agua es aguas.
For waters. Yeah, umbrella. El paraguas.
Paraguas. En este caso, como para termina en a y agua comienza.
Para ends in a, aguas begins in a, so we just smash them together and make it one a.
Por a, solo tenemos una a, paraguas. Y la combinación forma una palabra masculina singular. Atención, da igual que termine en S.
Da igual, it doesn't matter. Da igual literally means it gives equal, but no. When somebody means it doesn't matter, they'll say da igual. It doesn't matter that it ends in an S. El paraguas, it ends in an S sound. It doesn't matter that it ends in an S, it is not plural. It is one thing. And therefore, it is not los paraguas. Los paraguas is a thing, it would mean a whole bunch of these. By using it as los paraguas, it would be in a bunch of these. But the singular one is always ending in an S. Qué curioso, how weird. But it gets the word for the, which is singular, el. El paraguas, the umbrella.
Palabra es singular, el paraguas. El plural sería exactamente igual, pero con el artículo plural, los paraguas. El
So we're going to see all kinds of words that do this kind of thing. They combine two words to make one word. Here's the next one.
trabalenguas es algo que traba las lenguas.
Traba means tie up, make it difficult, to make something difficult. Lengua.
Oh,
Ah,
Trabar significa dificultar, hacer algo más difícil.
To make
Y la
something
lengua
hard.
es una parte del cuerpo humano que es muy importante hablar. Por ejemplo, yo ahora estoy hablando y no tengo ningún problema en hablar. Ahora es más difícil. Tengo un trabalenguas.
tiene un, el boli, la pluma es, but that is not usually how we use trabalenguas. She uses it to physically show that. El trabalenguas.
Esto está trabando mi lengua. Y hay algunos textos que, por su dificultad, hacen que sea muy difícil pronunciarlos. Por ejemplo, tres tristes
This is what a trabalenguas really is. It is a tongue twister. Tres tristes tigres comen trigo en un trial. We say tongue twister. They say makes it hard to use your tongues.
tigres comen trigo en un trigal. La R hace que sea muy difícil pronunciar.
A tongue twister emphasizes is a little phrase or a long sentence usually that makes you repeat the same sound over and over again in a difficult way. We have them too. This is one in Spanish. We have Peter Piper picked a, see, I can't even do it in English. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Oh yeah, okay. So this is one, tres tristes tigres comen trigo en un trial.
Este texto es como el boli.
Trabalenguas.
Un trabalenguas.
A tongue
Un
twister.
abrelatas.
Ah, el abre latas.
Es algo que abre latas. Abrir es el antónimo de cerrar. Y
Abrir, abrir, to open. Abre latas, abre latas, abre latas. Sí, es para abre. Abre, it opens. Paraguas, it stopped waters. Abre latas, it opens latas. Yo soy
las
latas.
latas son unos envases de metal que se usan para guardar normalmente comida.
Latas, cans.
Un abrecartas. Tenemos otra vez el verbo abrir y en este caso son
There's
cartas.
another abre, opens. Abre cartas. Abre cartas. Abre cartas. Un abre cartas.
¿Qué es una carta? Una carta es un texto escrito que se envía a otra persona para comunicarse, pues es un objeto que sirve para abrir cartas. El sacacorchos es
Sacacorchos. Es un sacacorchos. Un sacacorchos. ¿Verdad? Okay. It takes out corks. That's what they call it. The word for this thing is it takes out corks.
algo que saca corchos. Sacar es el antónimo.
Sacar means to take something out of something else. You take the cork out of the bottle, right?
De meter. Es decir, ponemos en el exterior
Sacar.
una cosa que está dentro de otra. Y el corcho es un objeto, es un material que normalmente se usa para cerrar las botellas de vino. El parachoques es algo que para los choques.
Okay, so para again, para means stops.
Parar es cuando estamos en movimiento y detenemos ese movimiento. Y un choque es cuando dos cosas se encuentran de forma violenta. Entonces, el parachoques es una parte de los coches que está diseñada para absorber los choques.
Parachoques is your bumper.
Oh,
It's for crashes. It stops crashes. El parachoques.
El parabrisas,
Parabrisas, it's going to stop something else. It's going to stop brisas.
algo que para las brisas. Otra vez el verbo parar. Y en este caso tenemos la brisa. ¿Qué es una brisa? Una brisa es como el viento, pero más suave.
Como viento, viento, viento.
oh.
Okay, viento, wind, but a soft wind. Oh, a breeze. That sounds a lot like the English word breeze, brise, brisas.
El parabrisas, entonces, es una parte del coche que sirve para
Para,
parar el viento, ¿vale?
to stop the wind. Oh, a windshield. A windshield. It stops the wind from hitting you when you're driving in your car. El
Es ese
parabrisas.
cristal que tenemos en la parte de delante del coche. El portamaletas es algo que porta las maletas. Portar es un sinónimo de llevar. Por ejemplo,
Portar
porto
is like
un libro.
carrying.
Es igual que yo llevo un libro. Entonces, el portamaletas es un carrito que normalmente vemos en los aeropuertos y en este portamaletas ponemos las maletas, todas las
A luggage cart. Yeah. But you probably don't own one of these, you know, it's something you get at the airport, right?
maletas y solo empujamos el portamaletas. Pero, atención, ahora no podéis decir siempre portar porque no se usa. Es una palabra más antigua. Usamos llevar. Y una maleta es un objeto en el que llevamos nuestra
Maleta,
ropa.
maleta, suitcase. Portamaletas, it carries suitcases. Portamaletas, because you have to carry more than one. So it's maletas, more than
O
one.
nuestras cosas cuando nos vamos de viaje. El lavavajillas es algo que lava las vajillas.
Okay, so now there are different words for this. In Latin America, this is more of a Spanish word. In Latin American Spanish, you hear more lavaplatos, lavaplatos. Lavar, again, to wash, right?
Dishwasher.
Lava, yeah, así es. So in Spain, they like to sometimes use this word instead. And she's going to show you an alternate word for this as well.
Lavar es limpiar con agua y jabón. Y la vajilla es el conjunto de platos y vasos.
Conjunto means just the combination.
Un sinónimo del friegaplatos.
Here's a synonym,
Algo que friega
synonym,
los platos.
synonym. Trabalenguas.
That's right.
Otro, sí, el trabalenguas otra vez. Friega. And this has to do with the amount of force you use. Lavar is, you know, wash. Fregar,
Scrub.
yeah, is scrubbing. So plate scrubber,
Platos.
dish scrubber.
Es como lavar. Y los platos son esos objetos normalmente redondos donde ponemos la comida. Entonces, el lavavajillas o el friegaplatos son estas máquinas, estos electrodomésticos que nos hacen la vida un poquito más fácil. El quitamanchas es algo que quita las manchas.
Quita is not to take out from inside of an object. Quitar is to take away. To take away. So quita takes away. It takes away manchas. What would that be?
Manchas. Quitar es el antónimo de poner y las manchas son las cosas que tenemos en la ropa si somos un poquito guarros cuando comemos. Entonces, el quitamanchas es un producto que usamos para intentar, a mí no me funciona mucho, quitar las manchas de la ropa.
Ah, quita manchas. Quita manchas, como Zout. Quita manchas, a stain remover. But it's, quita manchas. It takes out, it takes away. It takes away. And there was a little hidden joke in there. She said, these don't usually work for me very well. But it's el, one thing. El quita manchas. The stain taker away, or it takes away stains. El quita manchas. El quita manchas.
El saltamontes es algo que salta los
Saltar es jump.
montes. Saltar es caminar de forma vertical y un monte es como una montaña. Entonces, un saltamontes es un insecto que salta mucho en el monte.
El saltamontes. This is not good. Do you ever imagine that little critter? Grasshopper. Grasshopper. They call it a mountain jumper. I don't think, no creo que. I don't think that they can actually jump over mountains, but that's what they call them.
El guardaespaldas. Guardar tiene
Guardaespaldas.
muchísimos significados, ¿vale? Pero uno de estos significados es proteger. Y la espalda
So,
es
guardar, you can imagine guard. Espaldas. Guard your back.
Back.
una parte de nuestro cuerpo que va desde el cuello hasta el culo. Entonces, un guardaespaldas es una persona que protege nuestra espalda. Bueno, la mía no, porque no tengo dinero para pagar un guardaespaldas.
She says not mine because I don't have money to pay for this.
Espantapájaros.
El
Algo
espantapájaros.
que es
Espantar es to scare, to frighten.
espanta los pájaros. Espantar significa dar miedo a algo o a alguien.
To scare.
Y un pájaro es un animal que vuela. Entonces, un espantapájaros es normalmente un objeto que tiene forma de persona y se pone en los huertos para que los pájaros no vengan y se coman.
You put these in gardens. And they call it we call it scarecrow. Look at, we use a bird too, because that is universally why these are there. They're there because of birds, but we put the word crow in English there. They call it a bird scarer. It scares birds. El espantapájaros.
Todas las frutas y las verduras del huerto. Gracias por llegar hasta aquí.
Okay, eso es todo. That's it for that little video. And I'm going to send you the link to that. It is a fun little video, and it's good for listening comprehension. So you can check that out. Otra vez, again. It is very good. She does speak probably a little bit faster than some of you will be comfortable with, but it is, actually, she's speaking very slowly, so that, para que sepan, so that you guys know, she's speaking very, very slowly in that video. But turn on the subtitles and listen again, and that will help a little bit. Okay, and the curious thing that this is going to lead into our next practice is that all these things, right? El sacacorchos. Corchos is corks, plural, but it's el sacacorchos. These are unusual words. El paraguas, they're unusual because the word ends in S, but it's singular. El paraguas, so we use the article, so the focus is el paraguas. El abrelatas, the can opener. El abre cartas, the letter opener. El quitamanchas, the stain remover. These are all things that use el, even though they end in an S. You would think it should be los, but it's not los. It's only los if I had, it's only los if I have two of them. Si tengo dos. Si tengo dos, if I've got two of them, then it is los sacacorchos. But if I only have one, it's el sacacorchos, ending in an S. So every once in a while, you do get some of these kind of tricky, fun words in Spanish that are plural, but we use an el with that. But this brings up the curious thing. El means the, right? Que fácil, how easy. El means the. And a lot of people are sometimes confused about, do I use el, la, los, or las, or do I not use el, la, los, or la? Do I drop it? Do I not drop it? Okay, this is going to be a little video. This is again going to be part of your homework. We're only going to watch about the first 3 minutes of it, but it's going to talk about some specific instances when we absolutely do use the word the in Spanish, but in English, you probably don't. So this is a good lesson in how we cannot translate word for word for word, but the whole idea. And the whole idea sometimes means that we need to insert the word the, meaning el, la, los, las, where we would not use it at all in English, but we do in Spanish in that same idea. Okay, so in other words, how to translate the idea or use the right expression for the idea in Spanish. Okay, we're going to talk about 2 instances when we definitely use the word the, el, la, los, or las. And it's going to conflict with what you are comfortable with in English. And we're going to go off and do some practice with this in a little bit. Okay, so we're going to watch about, I think it might be the first 3 minutes of this. We're going to talk about 2 or 3 specific instances. And again, you'll get the link to this. So you need not.
Una pregunta, por favor.
Perdón. Oh,
Una
okay.
pregunta.
Sí, dime. You tell me.
Well, you said that, like sacacorchos here, el sacacorchos. If you have 2 of those, you say los.
Then it will, right.
Sacacorchos.
Only
So
if you've got 2 of them.
So all this, the words that she's talking about on that video. So that means that if you got 2 of those, you're like
You keep the word
automatically using los.
Right. Sacacorchos stays sacacorchos, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. But
okay, but what about the rest? What about the rest of the word that she's talking about, like el quitamanchas or el saltamontes? So do they have like, I mean, like we have, for example, if you have 2 of those, then you always use los?
I've got 2 bottles of this. Then I use los.
Okay.
Right. See, I hand out an umbrella to everybody in the family because we're all going out. And it becomes los paraguas.
Okay.
And paraguas does not change. It stays paraguas.
Yeah. Okay.
But the word el will turn to los only if I've got, dos,
2.
tres, cuatro, cinco. Yeah.
More
see.
than 1. Okay. So all of those change to los. No las, but just los.
Just los, right. This is kind of an odd category of words, but it's a fun intro to fun with articles. Okay. Bien.
Got it.
¿Está bien? Are we good with that, Juanita?
Sí, sí.
Bien.
Sí.
Magnífico.
Gracias.
Okay. Okay, we're going to watch a little bit of this, and then we're going to go off and do some separate practice for a lot of you. Okay, but we're going to take a look at some times when we definitely need to use the word the, el, la, los, or las, and probably you wouldn't in English, but we will doing it in Spanish here. So we're going to take a listen here to some specific instances. We're only going to take 2 or 3.
Hello, everyone. So definite articles. When do we use definite articles in Spanish versus in English, right? It's more complex than you think.
Whoa.
But articles we know introduce nouns. So like the boy or some apples, a car. Those are articles, either definite or indefinite, right? So specific introductions or general introductions. Definite articles, lo, la, las. Indefinite articles, right? But this video is talking about definite articles. When do we use them? Definite.
Now, we're not going to practice all 8 of these today. We're going to be looking at probably 1, 2, y 3, 1, 2, and 3. That's it. But I'll give you this whole video so you can watch it again, because we'll talk more about this next week. But we're using this in our warm-up because this is worth reviewing, because these are going to be times when we definitely need to use el, la, los, or las. But when you say this idea in English, you probably wouldn't use the word the. So you have to think
Definite
about
articles
it.
are more commonly used and frequently used, or commonly and frequently used in Spanish than in English. Okay, so this is not like a total list, but when do we use them in Spanish and not in English? Telling time, discussing things in a general sense, days of the week, discussing languages or body parts, discussing clothing, describing possession, or talking about titles when talking about other people. So like,
So we're only going to do look at 1, 2, and 3 today.
Oh, he. You know, we're talking about he. You know, the Dr. Smith is a great man. In English, we don't say the Dr. Smith. We just say Dr. Smith is a great man. In Spanish, we add the, right? So we'll give some examples of these. It's a lot, right? So just understand Spanish uses definite articles more than English. So telling time. Son las 3:30. It is 3:30. In Spanish, we say the. It is the 3:30. In English, we don't. We just say it is 3:30. In Spanish, las son las 3:30. You know, vamos a comer a las 7. We're going to eat, or let's go eat at 7. In Spanish, you introduce the time with a definite article. Let's go eat at the 7 o'clock? No, let's go eat at 7. Vamos a comer a las 7. El concierto empieza. The concert begins a las 9 en punto. The concert begins at typo, at 9 o'clock sharp. El partido termina a las 10. A las 10. The game finishes at 10. But in Spanish, always introduce the time with a definite article. Discussing things in a general sense, right? So like, milk is delicious. I'm making a general statement about milk. Well, here, I don't say the milk is delicious, but in Spanish you do, because you're just, in general, milk, so la leche es deliciosa. Milk is delicious. Soccer is the best sport in the world. It's true. El fútbol es el mejor deporte del mundo. El fútbol, the soccer. Los gallos son ruidosos. Roosters are noisy. It's a general statement. I'm not qualifying it. It's just anytime you talk about something in general, use the definite article. Las fiestas de cumpleaños son divertidas. Birthday parties are fun. Not the birthday parties, but just birthday parties. We don't use definite articles as much as Spanish does.
So notice these nouns, la leche, el fútbol, los gallos, las fiestas, they're being used in the sense of talking about a general category and everything in that category. El fútbol, any kind of soccer game at all, right? La leche, all kinds of milk, right? Los gallos, as a category of animals. Los gallos, this category, this type of animals. Las fiestas de cumpleaños, birthday parties, that category of celebrations, okay? All those celebrations son divertidas, they are fun. They're always fun. So when we talk about nouns in a general sense, okay?
So, las fiestas. The days of the week. Always the day of the week is going to be introduced with definite article, right?
So a lot of our talk today is revolving around the idea of time, whether more expansively in days or in telling time. So here's our last topic for today. many, many, many times. Not if I say, hoy es lunes, today is Monday. But if I want to say on Monday, on Tuesday, on Thursday, or if I want to say Mondays, I do laundry, on Mondays. In those senses, if I say on Mondays, or if I say on Monday, on this Monday, I will have to use a definite article.
El viernes yo no tengo que trabajar.
Friday, I don't have to work. And, or you might say in English, on Friday, I don't have to work. El viernes no tengo que trabajar. El viernes no tengo que trabajar. On Friday, I don't have to work.
Friday, I don't have to work. This is the internet, but today actually is Friday and I'm working. And I don't know if it's Monday when you're watching this video or not, but I'm working on Friday. El viernes, yo no tengo que trabajar. Friday, I don't have to work. Yo nunca como el desayuno los jueves. So, general statement about breakfast. I don't eat the breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. Thursdays, los jueves. Los is plural because it's a every day. It's Thursdays or every,
It means every Thursday. So look at the difference between those first two. El viernes no tengo que trabajar. On Friday, and that just means you're probably talking about this week, yeah? This particular Friday. On this particular Friday. El viernes no tengo que trabajar, but if I never eat breakfast on Thursdays ever, all Thursdays, then it becomes los jueves,
systematically, plural. On Thursdays, I don't eat breakfast. I put on in a parentheses because sometimes you'd say, I never eat breakfast Thursdays. Or maybe in English you'd say, I never eat breakfast on Thursdays. Either way is correct. Yo tengo mi clase de arte los lunes y miércoles. I have my art class on Mondays and Wednesdays. So los on the Mondays and Wednesdays. You gotta use the definite article to introduce a day of the week. El sábado nosotros vamos al cine. Saturday, we go to the movie theater.
Okay, and we're going to stop there. I want to point one thing out about this, this very last example. El sábado nosotros vamos al cine. On Saturday, we're going to the theater. You can take that little word combination, el sábado, and you can use it up front, like the engine of the train, or you can stick it in the back, like the caboose of the train. That little combination of el sábado can either come up front to lead off your idea, or it can hang off the back end to end your idea. Either way of placing el sábado is correct. So I can say, el sábado nosotros vamos al cine, or nosotros vamos al cine el sábado. Or we can ditch the nosotros altogether because, yeah, most of us do, and just say vamos and forget the nosotros. Vamos al cine el sábado. We're going to the theater on, or movie theater on Saturday. So el sábado can lead off your sentence, or it can hang off the end of the sentence, and either way is okay. All right, and we're going to practice that end of it a little bit later. You're going to watch the rest of the video at home, en casa. Bien? Okay.
Una pregunta.
Sí, dime.
Do
Sí,
they,
Dora.
are they on 24-hour kind of a thing, or do they say AM and PM, or how do they do that?
Oh, bien. Yeah, we're going to do a little review of time. Qué buena pregunta. You do sometimes hear people saying AM, PM. You do sometimes actually hear that, but it is a little more common, I think, at least in my experience. It is a little more common to hear de la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche. And I'll point that out when we do our next little review before you go into practice, okay? Our first review is going to take using, actually only, you don't have to think very hard. One word for the, las. Well, actually, I lied, two. La or las, la or las. The first one we're going to take is the one that talks about time. The one that talks about time. And after this little review, you're going to go into a breakout room and practice that. And those of you who are newbies, I'm going to practice with you in your group because you're going to have a review or actually kind of a little intro of a different verb with that telling time piece. So let's take a look at, vamos a ver. Uy. Uy, ¿dónde está? Aquí, here we go. Aquí vamos. I'm going to make this a lot bigger. Más grande. And again, you don't need to take copious notes. Don't need to take copious notes on this thing you're going to see next on the share screen because I will send this all to you. Okay. A ver. Telling time, we usually use la or las with telling time. So we're going to review that a little bit. Some of you haven't even seen this at all. So you're going to come off with me and work on this a little bit separately. But this is just a little review that, first of all, this is complicated by first of all, time has many translations in Spanish, the word time. When you talk about time, you don't just use one word for time. You may use any one of these three words. Different words are often used. They exist to express different ideas about time or different situations. So vez, B-E-Z, vez is used to talk about an iteration or an event or an occurrence of time. So una vez, once, muchas veces, many times. Like how many times you do something, that's not the same as telling time. So we're not going to use base, but just so you know, there are different words for time. Tiempo. Tiempo is a noun that also means time, but it's the general idea of time. Like el tiempo vuela, time flies. Okay? El tiempo vuela, time flies. All right, but here is the golden one we're going to talk about today. Hora, hora, hora means time, but it means time in the sense of hour, a 60-minute time period. La hora, the time. And this ding, 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 ding is the one we use to talk about telling the time of day. Telling the time of day, la hora. Okay. ¿Qué hora es? What hour is it? In English, you would never say, what hour is it? You would say, what time is it? But this is the way they ask for the time. ¿Qué hora es? What hour is it? What time is it? We would say in English. Or people will say, if they're running late, they're horribly late. Oh my gosh, I've got to get out of here. Mira la hora. Ay, mira la hora. Mira, mira, mira. Look at the hour. Mira la hora que es. Look at the time it is. You'll hear people use that expression. But when we talk about the time, and this is what you're going to start to practice today, it's going to use either la or las, the words for the that are la or las. So remember, when we responding to que hora es, we use a little formula. We use la or las. I should put in a la or las. With the hour and with the minutes. That's how we use that in Spanish. So when you respond to que hora es, what time is it? It'll usually be son plus las plus the hour. And then if you have extra minutes, the minutes go there. So we're reviewing both words for the, la or las, and some numbers, right? Because we're plugging numbers into this. Son las. Son las. Las, and we only use la or las because we're talking about la hora, a feminine thing. So that's why it's la or las. So here are some examples. Son las 5. It's 5 o'clock. Son las 10. It's 10 o'clock. Son las 8:10. It's 8:10. Son las 11:20. It's 11:20. But only when we talk about the 1 o'clock hour, instead of son las, it's going to go all singular. It's going to be not son las, but es la. Es la una. Anytime you're talking about the 1 o'clock hour, because it's not this many. No. It's just the one. So it's es la una. Es la una, es la 1:15, it's 1:15. Es la 1:30, it's 1:30. Okay, so I'm going to add one little extra thing here, which I meant to add, but didn't mean to. If what you mean is not saying it's this time, but you want to say at a time. So I'm going to put this in big letters here. It's just, we'll put that there. If you want to say something happens at a time, and you'll be doing this in your breakout rooms, most of you, instead of saying son las 5, it'll be a las 5. If you mean at, instead of it's 5 o'clock, if you want to say at 5 o'clock, at 5 o'clock becomes a las instead of son las with the time. Okay, it becomes a las. At means we are not using that verb son or es anymore. We're saying at. At is not a verb, right? It's not it's 5 o'clock, it's at 5 o'clock. Entonces, por ejemplo, for example, cocino a las 5. Cocino a las 5. I cook at 5. And Nora, you can be more specific. Cocino a las 5 de la tarde. Bien, de la tarde. No cocino. Yo no cocino a las 5 de la mañana. I do not cook at 5 a.m. And if you want that, go find another household. Okay. No cocino a las 5. No cocino a las 5. Bien. Vale. Bien. So, son las 5 at 5 o'clock, but, sorry, son las 5, it's 5 o'clock. But if I change it to at 5 o'clock, a las 5, like I do something at this time, a las 5, okay? I'm just going to remind you, when we talk about time, anything that is past, and this is probably looking like it's reversed to you because that's how it looks to me. If you are talking about anything past 30 minutes, oh, whoops, sorry. I got ahead of myself here. If I'm looking at anything past 30 minutes, sometimes it goes into, instead of saying E with the minutes, I use a menos, minus with the minutes. So if I'm looking at anything more than 30 minutes on the clock, then what will happen is people will, instead of E, they'll use a menos. So, son las 3:40, right? Or es la 1:50. It's common to use the next hour and minus and the minutes. So, son las 4:20 is really 3:40. It's 4 o'clock minus 20 minutes. This is a common way to say that last half hour of the clock. You use the hour that's coming up. Yeah, the hour that's coming up. So 3:40 means the next hour coming up is really 4 o'clock, but it's not 4 o'clock yet. It's 4 o'clock minus 20 minutes. Son las 4 menos 20, right? Or we might say in English, 20 minutes till 4. We have many ways of saying this in English. And in Spanish, sadly, there are many ways of expressing it, but this is a very, very common one that you should know. And so commonly, if I'm talking about coming up to the 1 o'clock hour, it'll be es la 1 menos 5. 5 minutes till 1 is 12:55. But it means the hour coming up is 1. Es la 1 menos 5. Es la 1 menos 5. It's 1 o'clock minus 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes till 1, right? It's 12:55. And you know, people may express that as son las 12:55. They may say that, or they may say es la 1 menos 5. But notice it is una, a feminine for the hour. That's the one number hour that goes to a feminine form, okay?
It's not common to say son las 3:45. So you just say
you may hear people,
cuatro.
you may hear people using that digital thing. Yes. Those who are in the digital age, younger people in particular, you may hear them using let's look at the very last example. Son las 12:55. You may hear people saying that, and that is okay.
Okay.
So there's more than one way to do it. Younger generations who are absolutely tied to digital clock will commonly do that. Oh, yes, hay que sí. Yes, sí. And I'm going to remind you of 2 other little special words, and then we're going to go off and do our little individual practice here. So here's our last bit before you go off to practice, because you're going to practice using time with la or las, right? Okay, there are a couple little special extra words that we sometimes use to talk for 1/4 of an hour and 1/2 an hour. And those special words are cuarto. So again, like Juanita brought up, will they use like bigger numbers? Sometimes they will. But that word 1/4, whether it's 1/4 past or 1/4 till an hour, is often this word cuarto. So people may use 15 to say 15 minutes. That is okay. Or people may choose to use cuarto, meaning 1/4 of an hour. And both are correct. One is not more common than the other. I would say cuarto is quite common. Okay, quite common. But people may say 15. Whatever they feel like saying is what they will say. Okay, so there's no way to predict. And the word for 1/2 past. People may say 30, meaning 30 minutes, or they may say the word media, which means 1/2 an hour, okay? This same word media means 1/2 an hour, or 1/2 past, as we say in English, right? 1/2 past, and actually I'll change that to 1/2 an hour to 1/2 past, because generally, I guess that's how we would say that in English, 1/2 past. 30 is okay for the minutos, and media, meaning 1/2 an hour, is okay. Both are correct. Son las 7:15. Es la 1:15. I may say, I meant to use a 15 in there. So people may use 15, people may use cuarto. It means 1/4, no matter how, right? Son las 3:30. Es la 1:30. Both of those mean a 1/2 hour time. So Either is okay. Bien? Either is okay. That's a little review. Those of you who are very newbies, don't panic. We're going to do very basic practice in our breakout rooms for you guys. It'll be very specific to you. Okay. The rest of you, I'm going to send you off into a breakout room now. And I'm going to tell you what I would like you to do. Except for the very, very, very newbie people. And Bill, I'm going to put you in that group just today,
Thank you.
this time, because that is okay. But the rest of you who've got a little bit more under your belt, here's what I want you to do during our breakout time. And I'm going to give you probably about 7 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to try to time this. The more experienced those of you, I would like you to talk about when you do certain things. I want you to practice talking about what you do at a certain time. So, and this is wide open, except for those of you who come with me. I will be joining the beginner group. You might talk about lavo los platos a las 7. I wash dishes at 7. I want you to practice using your las to tell at what time you do something. And you can talk about anything that you do. And I want you to talk about what time you do it, right? Cocino or preparo el almuerzo a las 12. I prepare lunch at 12. You can talk about anything that you do. Talk about what you do personally, or you can talk about what your husband does, what your kids do, but use a time, a las, and the hour. Bien?
Sí.
¿Alguna pregunta? Any question
Sí.
before I send you off? Okay, Juanita.
Sí, sí. What do you say then? Like, you say that the half an hour, like 30 minutes, you call it media. So how are you going to say like, okay, so see you in a half an hour?
I'll see you in a half an hour. I'll see you becomes we'll see each other. Nos vemos, right? Okay, so that's the first part. Nos vemos. Nos vemos. We'll see each other. Nos vemos en media hora.
En media hora.
Okay. En media hora. Because you're not saying a specific time, you're saying in a half an hour.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to say a specific hour, nos vemos, we'll see each other, or I'll see you, really, it's the same idea. Nos vemos a la 1:30. I'll see you at 1:30. ¿Entiendes? Understand?
Sí, sí.
Bien? Okay. So talk about when you do something, talk about a time. You've got to use an a las or an a la if it's the 1 o'clock hour. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
See?
Sí.
Bien? Okay. A ver, and I'm going to, you may want to jot some notes to yourselves. I need just a minute here to get people into the right rooms. And I'm going to take certain folks here off with me. And I'm just making sure I'm not messing up here. Okay. Bien. And I think I'm going to break you guys into about groups of 3. And it's going to be very, very random. Perfecto. Yeah, this is going to work out quite perfectly. Okay. Bien. And you'll get a little warning thing. And those of you who are brand newbie people, I'm going to be in your group in about a minute. Okay, I will join your group in about a minute. What you're going to see is a little button that will say join. It'll probably be, is it upper right-hand corner, guys? Because I don't see that. It'll be upper right. It'll say join. You have to hit the join button like right now. You're going to want to hit your join button. So you go into your separate room. And those of you who are brand new, I will come in a minute. Yeah.
I think she's,
Hola, you're going to get a more basic
Hola.
lesson today, bien? Because you guys need practice with this. And you know, wow, I'm supposed to be able to share, but I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, see, I'm not sure I can. Okay, we're going to practice a little bit with telling time. And I know this is going to look reversed, isn't it? But you know which hours I'm talking about, yeah? Does this look like the right, is the orientation right, or does it look back? Because it looks backwards to me.
8 o'clock. is
No.
what-
Okay, okay. We're going to practice just how you say some of these time ideas. Okay, and I need to start my timer too, so I make sure I time everybody. So I don't like go crazy spending too much time. Okay, bien, got my stopwatch going. Fantástico. ¿Cómo se dice it's 8 o'clock? It's 8 o'clock. We need a son las.
son las 8.
Son las 8. Son las 8. Fantástico. Fantástico. It's 11 o'clock.
Son las 11.
Son las 11. Son las 11. Bien. Fabuloso. Fabuloso. It's 6.
Son las 6.
Son las 6. Perfecto. Perfecto. It's 4 o'clock.
Son las 4.
Son las 4. Son las 4. Okay. So now, if instead, let's say you're meeting with somebody and you don't want to say it's 4 o'clock, you're going to say, oh, I'll call you at 4 o'clock. I'll call
A
you.
las 4 de la tarde.
Perfecto, muy bien. It has to switch out because once I'm saying at, I no longer use that verb son, right? I don't need a verb because I'm saying at. At isn't a verb. Te llamo, I'll call you. So we're gonna preface all these with te llamo, you I'm calling. Te llamo a las 4. Te llamo. You're going to tell somebody, I'm calling you at this time. Te llamo, te llamo, te
Llamo a las 3.
Te llamo a las 3. Perfecto, perfecto. Te llamo, I'll call you.
Te llamo a las 7.
Te llamo a las 7. Perfecto, perfecto. I'll call you at 2.
Te llamo a las 2.
Te llamo a las 2. A las 2. Now, watch out. Cuidado, cuidado, cuidado. Careful, careful, careful. I'm switching to one little single thing. I'll call you at 1.
Te llamo a la 1.
A la 1. Not las. La. A la 1. Te llamo a la 1. Te llamo a la 1. Bien? Okay, we're going to try at with some minutes. Okay, we're going to add on some minutes. Minutos. Perfecto. Te llamo, I'll call you at 10 after 10.
Te
llamo.
llamo 10 y 10.
A las 10:10. Perfecto. Te llamo, I'll call you. Te llamo a las 10:10. Vale, perfecto. Perfecto, perfecto.
Mm.
I'll call you at 9:20. Te llamo.
Te llamo a las 9:20.
Perfecto. Te llamo a las 9:20. Bien. Perfecto. I'll call you at 9:30. There are two ways you can say this. You can say it 30 minutes, or media, half an hour. Te llamo, I'll call you.
Mm.
A las 9:30.
A las 9.
Oh, sorry, 9.
Está bien. A las 9:30.
Okay.
Y 30, or I really think I like to use media. A las 9:30.
Okay.
Te llamo a las 9:30. Now, here's a good thing. And actually, Mary, it's good that you made this little boo-boo, because those two words, nuevo and nueve, are very close together. They're only different by one little sound. Nuevo means new. Okay. But nueve is 9, the number. So nueve needs to sound like e. If you say it as nuevo, they'll automatically think new. New 30, what the heck is that? New and a half, what is that? Nuevo y media won't make any sense to them, but nueve y media will make a lot of sense to them. Okay, vale, perfecto. Bueno. A ver, okay. Oh, I need 5 more minutes, so you tell somebody, I'll call you. Te llamo, I'll call you.
Te llamo 7:05.
Y 5, perfecto. Muy bien. Y 5. Now I'm going to do a couple for you. These are the harder ones. So I'm going to do this for you, because this uses that menos thing, which is a little harder. So we're just going to preview what these will sound like right now, okay? Te llamo, and I want to say 10 minutes till 8, okay? Te llamo a las 8 menos, menos, a las 8 menos 10, a las 8 menos 10. You may hear somebody say a las 7:50 if they're thinking digitally, but a las 8 menos 10, 8 o'clock minus 10 minutes. Bien, ¿vale? Ok, a ver. Otro ejemplo. So now we've got a 20. Yeah. Te llamo, I'll call you. Te llamo a las 3 menos 20. A las 3 menos 20. A las 3 menos 20. It could be a las 2:40, but I think a little more common. Te llamo, I'll call you, te llamo a las 3 minus 20. ¿Bien? ¿Bien?
20.
Okay. ¿Alguna pregunta? Some question about that? I'm going to send you and I'm going to send this just to you guys, a list of clocks. It's going to show some sample times. And it's going to show it as son las or es la, if it's the 1 o'clock hour. But it'll show you some examples. I'll probably send you a little video on that too, separately, just so you can kind of get that in your head. Bien. ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Any question about that? Or does that make sense to you? Okay. So anytime people are giving you, like, when a bus is going to be at that bus stop, or what time your train leaves, what time the tour bus leaves, what time a show starts, what time they open their store. They're going to use it as a las for a time, right? You only hear the a la for the 1 o'clock hour. Bien? Does that make sense?
Sí.
Yes.
¿Hay alguna pregunta? Any question about that? Sí o no?
No.
No? Okay. I'm going to ask you in this older book, and again, I'll send you guys a separate email, the places in the book where they talk about that and show that in this book. And I want you to focus just on that as part of your specific homework. Okay. ¿Está bien?
Sí.
Okay, I'm gonna leave this room now, and it's gonna be just a minute till everything comes back into the big main room. Bien, I'm gonna leave the breakout room. Okay, mejor, better. Did we go over the verb ir with you guys as well, or did we not go over ir, to go? That to go
No.
verb? Okay, I'm probably gonna give you that verb to take a look at as well. We'll have more people coming back in. Okay. Bien, bien, bien. Todos estamos. Oh, we got everybody back. Okay. ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Is there any question about that using a la or a las? ¿Alguna pregunta? Did that go pretty smoothly or no?
Sí.
Sí? Bien? Cindy, and you know what? It puts you on mute when you come out of breakout rooms, so you'll have to take yourself off it.
Sorry. If you are saying in the evening or in the morning, do you use de la noche, de la, or in la noche?
De la.
De la.
De la, sí. Qué buena pregunta. What a good question that is. Because, and I'm going to put this in my little chat box here. So if you don't have chat box turned on, you may want to do that. Yes, for AM and PM, it is very, very common to have de la mañana, you know, any time before noon, de la mañana, when you're telling time, de la tarde, and yet de la tarde lasts until sundown. So if you're in a place where it's 7 o'clock, you know, we kind of in English kind of think of that as evening, but 7 o'clock may still be expressed as de la tarde, very, very likely if the sun is still up. De la noche, you know, strictly for at night, you know, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock on, you can use de la noche. Bien?
Bien.
Okay, qué
Yes.
buena pregunta. Otra pregunta, another question, ¿sí o no?
No.
No, okay. I thought we were gonna get time. Wow, nos quedan unos minutos. We've just got a few minutes left. Okay, I was gonna do another breakout room, but we're going to leave this. I'm gonna have
Mira
to.
la hora.
Mira la hora. Exacto, mira la hora. Look at that time. We're going to review this a little bit quickly, and we'll do this when we start off. Next week. Oh, shoot. asking all kinds of strange things to me. Okay. A ver. And this will be a little, again, a little introduction. If I can get my screen to work. Vamos. Mejor, better, okay. We very typically use, we may or may not use el or la with days of the week. Oh, shoot, how do I know? Here's how you know. Es fácil. It's really easy. Can you all see my little screen with my little days? See, bien, okay. And oddly enough, days of the week, los días de la semana, days of the week, on a calendar, they always, the English calendars start with Sunday, Spanish calendars generally do not. Spanish calendars start with Monday. Monday, lunes. So here are days of the week. Lunes, Monday, lunes. Day of the moon, Monday, day of the moon, yeah, lunes. La luna, the moon. Martes, Tuesday. Miércoles, Wednesday. Just like Wednesday is the longest, we got lots of letters in Wednesday. Wednesday, nobody says it that way. Wednesday, but miércoles, Wednesday. Jueves, Thursday. Viernes, Friday. Sábado, which kind of looks like Sabbath, sábado. Right? Sábado, Saturday. Domingo. Domingo refers to God, God's day. Domingo, Sunday, day of worship for Christian countries. Domingo, Sunday. And then we've got a little box down here, el fin de semana. El fin de semana means the end of the week. Weekend, el fin de semana. And by the way, por lo visto, often el fin de semana is contracted. Lots of people will use this little snippet to say el fin de semana in a shorter way. Fin de. El fin de. If somebody says el fin de, they mean weekend. It's a shorter way of saying el fin de semana, and you can see why they shorten it to el fin de. It's shorter to say. Yeah, it's kind of a slang thing. I don't, wow. If I looked that up in the dictionary, would it be listed as a word? I don't think so, but I'm going to look that up this week. But everybody says that, el fin de. If somebody says, oh, el fin de, es el fin de, it's the weekend. Es el fin de. Nos vemos el fin de. We'll see each other. I'll see you. Nos vemos el fin de. See you on the weekend. So they shorten it, okay? So when we talk about days of the week and we say it's a day of the week, I do not use the. Okay? Oh, and this is going to be like English. So we're looking at this top band here. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. Hoy, and now we've got a little X. The X represents where this day is. Yeah, what the day is. Hoy es lunes, because our X is in the first slot. Do you follow that? See? Pueden ver? Okay. If our little X is in this slot, hoy es, today is. Hoy es lunes, it cannot be hoy es lunes for número dos, number 2. Número dos has to be.
Hoy es viernes.
Hoy es viernes,
Viernes.
right? Hoy es viernes. If our little X is in the very last slot, it would say today is Sunday.
Hoy es domingo.
Hoy es domingo. Hoy es domingo. If our little X, our X is here on the second slot, número
Hoy es
4.
martes.
Hoy es martes. Hoy es martes. If we've got our little X right here for número 5, number 5, hoy es
Jueves.
jueves. Hoy es jueves, right? It'll sound like that, ja, 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 because it's got a J. Hoy es jueves. If our little X is here,
Miércoles.
Hoy es miércoles.
Hoy es miércoles,
Miércoles.
miércoles. I want to give you a little
Miércoles.
fun fact. Miércoles, besides meaning Wednesday, is also a euphemism for shit.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
Hoy, hoy.
it's like a mer.
You don't want to say, oh, in front of your little 5-year-old. So you say, ay, miércoles. Miércoles. Yeah, it's a euphemism because it sounds like that
Mer,
word.
like
Yeah, mierda is the
Mer.
shit word. And mierda is really close to miércoles. So it's like we say, oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. I banged my thumb with the hammer. Oh, shoot. Because you didn't want to say, oh, shit. Yeah, okay, same thing. Mierda is close to miércoles. That's why. Okay, now we're going to look at number 7. If the little X is here, hoy es sábado.
Sábado.
So when you come back next week, you're going to write off the very first thing we're going to do after we talk about any questions you might have about reading. The next thing we'll have to do after your little reading questions, because sometimes that's shorter, that's long, is you're going to go off and you're going to talk about days of the week, but you're going to now, you're not going to say, hoy es lunes, hoy es martes. No. You're going to talk next week about what you do on days of the week. Oh, and now you are going to have to use el or los. El or los. So, por ejemplo, what you're going to come in and talk about is what you do on certain days of the week, typically, because we all have certain chores that are part of our routines on a day of the week. So I might say, lavo la ropa. Lavo, I wash. Lavo la ropa los lunes. I wash clothes on Mondays. And you may mean, if you mean you do it every Monday, every single Monday, it's los lunes. But if you want to say, I'm going to wash my clothes on Tuesday instead, and you just mean that one day, it'll become lavo la ropa el martes. Lavo la ropa el martes. See, I want you to pick 5 things. 5 things that you typically do, routines, chores, or fun stuff. It doesn't have to be chores, could be fun stuff, could be reading, could be watching a movie, could be eating ice cream, lo que sea, whatever it may be, right? And I want you must use el to say you do it on you're going to do it a particular day of that week, or los to meaning you always do it on that particular one day. I want you to pick 5 things you do for fun or for chores, whatever it may be, and come in and you're going to share that with people in your group. Okay. Those of you in the beginner group, you're going to be with me again to work on that a little more specifically. Make sense? See?
Sí.
Claro, muy bien, muy bien.
What do you say when you do it on the weekends? Like, because you don't mention it, like, okay, on Saturday, or either on Saturday or on Sunday. So, I'm going to do it on the weekend.
El fin de.
Okay.
El fin de. El fin de, or you can be real formal and say the whole set of words, el fin de semana. Sí, exacto. El fin de semana. So you are going to come in and you are going to practice. Hoy es lunes does not use hoy es el lunes. No, but when you say you do something on a day of the week, we are going to use that article. Okay, we are going to use that article. I'm going to take a quick look to see if there's anything else. No. I think everything else will come to you in the email. I will have a story, our little mouse story for you to watch, so you have some listening comprehension. And we're also going to give you something else that will work on things that revolve around review of numbers, because we're going to do more review of numbers, because everybody can use that, a little more practice with numbers. ¿Está bien? Are we good?
Está bien.
Está bien.
Gracias.
Bien, magnífico. De nada, de nada. Es un placer. Es un placer. It is a pleasure. ¿Alguna pregunta? Any question before we leave for this week? You will get an email after every class session, as we do. It will list every single file I used and every single YouTube I used, and it will list all the homework stuff I want you to use to prepare for.
Una pregunta.
Sí. Bueno, Bill, dime.
If we are not able to be in attendance on a particular day, can we review this entire process, and how does that happen?
See, if you are not, and that this happens with a lot of people because life happens. Some people choose to email me. You don't have to, but if you do, then I know, oh, I'm not waiting for so-and-so, but you don't have to email me. You're not accountable. This is not high school. Some people choose to, but you don't have to. You just, right. You'll still get the email, whether you were in class or not in class. You get the link to watch the YouTube recording, and you get the list of everything we did every single class time. And it always comes to you later in the day today on Mondays.
Gracias.
Bien, Bill?
Gracias.
De nada, de nada. And that happens. And that happens to everybody. So never feel guilty about that. Never feel guilt. Okay. Ustedes no tienen la culpa. It's not your fault. If you can't be in class, that happens. Okay. Otra pregunta. Any other question before we wrap up? ¿Sí o no?
Gracias.
No, nada. Okay.
Nada.
Muy bien. Que tengan
Hasta
una buena
lunes.
semana. Have a good week, everybody. ¿Sí?
Sí.
Gracias.
Hasta lunes.
Okay. De nada, de nada.
Gracias.
Adiós.
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 Hasta luego. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Gracias.